Today we have a brand new offering from Dakoyu that isn't new, but it's pretty amazing and probably something a lot of you guys have been looking for. Now, before we talk about this brand new older tool, what we need is some context. And the context is that the Leatherman Crunch and the Kershaw A100, Leatherman Crunch, Kershaw A100, have pretty much been the standard of the vice grips for the multi-tool world. Now, there have been some oddballs out there. Gerber will come out with a Gerber Grappler. I still have not picked up one of those. Those are around $500 to $1,000. Even if they're broken, they're around $200 to $300 on eBay. There are some other ones out there that I don't really think are that great, but the main ones will be the Leatherman Crunch and the Kershaw A100. Now, both of these are discontinued. The Leatherman Crunch stuck around for a while. Then it seemed like Leatherman said, hey, no one is buying this anymore. It's not worth to make it. And so they discontinued it. And a lot of people now have said, I wish it would come back. But Leatherman historically does not bring tools back that do not sell well. So I do not know that we will ever see another Leatherman vice grip again. Just not really sure it's going to happen. So you can fold the head in the frame, you can break it down, and it compacts to be a very, very small, lightweight multi-tool. So you can pull the jaws back out and then use this for your vice grip. There's a 1/4 inch bit in or bit holder inside. In the handle, Phillips screwdriver, 2 flat screwdrivers, file, serrated blade. Pretty great tool. It sold for a while, I think a little bit over $100 or so. Very reasonable tool. Now, looking back, I should have bought many, many more. Now, the Kershaw A100 will disappear a little bit before the Leatherman Crunch, but it has these cutters in the jaw. The Leatherman Crunch does also. Then it has these very long needle nose, where the Leatherman Crunch has more of almost, like stubby nose on the vice grips. Then on the outside is this serrated blade, the regular blade. On the inside, we can pull out these tools. There is a Phillips screwdriver, bottle opener, can opener, the file, and then a metal saw. For a while, Kershaw actually sold replacement implements. So if you broke yours, there's actually kits that still sell for a lot on eBay. Can lock this in place closed. This was the Kershaw A100 made for craftsmen, but there were, I think, a couple different versions. Maybe some of the knife versions were a little different. I haven't delved into that, but this is the standard pretty much of the industry along with the Leatherman Crunch. Now, we need to keep the Kershaw A100 because, as is usual, around 30 years ago, powers that be overseas decided they would make a copy of the Kershaw A100. They did. It pretty much looks exactly the same. Now, things are a little different, but take a look at that. You've got the serrated blade, the combo blade there, and then on the inside, Phillips. There is the can opener, bottle opener. Let's open this one back up again. Yeah, so there are these 2 implements. They don't look exactly the same, but pretty close. File comes next, as does on this one. Then on the inside is this metal saw. Now, what's different on this version is this has the large screwdriver. It does not have the hacksaw blade. Now, at Dakoyu, Dawson was very upfront and he said, these are not very good multi-tools. They have sat around for 30 years. They are rusting a little bit. They need touched up. We'll try to do our best, but just be aware that these are not great. Right out of the package, I can hear that this is very gritty. With the spring and the mechanism, something just feels very, very gritty. Now, I know they have done some work. Looking up close, you can see the marks on the jaw where these are a little rough. It looks like they have been yeah, made out of metal that's not really that great, but he has tried to clean these up, and it is pretty impressive how good they do look for being an older tool. Now, these implements on the inside actually look far better than I expected. I expected them to look far worse. They actually snap out on the back spring. Now, these are not locking, but they actually snap out and hold a little bit more than I would expect. Overall, I'm very happy with the purchase of this tool. This is probably one of the best versions I have seen that is a copy of the Kershaw A100. Pretty neat. Yeah, this is better, a lot better than I thought. Now, I think I paid around $50 for this, and then eventually now it's up to $69. So at Dakoyu Tool, he mentioned, the owner, that it does take a lot more work than he initially thought. So these are now $69 instead of, I think I might have paid around $50, not quite sure. But yeah, pretty neat. They act very similar. I almost wonder if the lockup is better on this one than the A100. I don't know, maybe probably pretty similar. This definitely has a lot smoother jaws. I would trust the A100 a lot more, but as I said, this is the best copy of the Kershaw A100 I have seen. Now, these go for around $120, $150, $200 on eBay at times. You can find cheaper ones. I think I found this for around $80, but that is very rare. They usually are always over $100 to $150 and above. Now, over the years that I have been running this channel, I have found several different versions. Now, this is probably one of the closest ones. This is the Sheffield Crocodile, and they had several different versions. This was a pretty close copy, but this one, it doesn't feel as good, but this knife actually locks into place. Let me check out these other tools. So, okay, so this knife locks into place. Does the original knife lock into place? Yes. So on all these, the knife does lock into place. The other tools do not. It might be a little bit unfortunate for some of you in several other countries, other continents. All right, now on this Kershaw, or this Sheffield rather, Crocodile, I have removed, I think I removed the knife, and then I was trying to put the arm bar in there, but it didn't really work that well. It comes with scissors, this combo can opener. Well, actually it is just basically a can opener, bottle opener, screwdriver, and then the file. So that's a little different than it would originally come with the knife. This was a fairly unsuccessful modding experiment I did here. Then there are more of the blunt nose version. Now, these do not have the knife at the top, and I actually have two of these I found. Sometimes these go for $20 to $50 used, and yeah, if they're under $30, I usually pick them up because the tools on the inside are not great, but they don't feel that good. The tools, when you look at them, I don't know, they're fairly subpar. I think these are probably the worst copy, or one of the worst copies, but they're all right. They're not too bad. I think the vice grips still work, but that was that one. And then, yeah, this is the same exact one. They feel sort of cheap, but I still like that vice grip version. Now, just recently, before I saw the offering from Dakoyu, I found this tool. So I think this is the tool that Dawson from Dakoyu Tools has found a huge stockpile of. They call this the Retro 30, and it looks like pretty much the same thing. Now on mine, you can see how it definitely does have some of those rust spots, and that's probably what Dawson was dealing with, some of this older stock. Now, I think I did find mine at a fairly cheap price. So I am excited that you guys finally are able to buy something similar to a Leatherman Crunch. Is it the same quality? No. And again, at Dakoyu Tools, he is very upfront, and he said, no, this is not that great a quality, but if you want something a little bit similar, that is a pair of vice grips with some extra tools, you can buy this. It's actually a little bit better than I thought. I think he has done a better job cleaning this up. The tools look a lot nicer than some of the other examples. Expect yours to be a little gritty. If you can deal with that, if you can deal with some of these signs of, yeah, the steel not being the best, then I would definitely recommend you to pick this up. At $69, this is probably the cheapest you will find a pair of vice grip multi-tools with these many tools on it for a while. Now, yes, you can sometimes find something very similar to this on eBay, a rare occurrence, for maybe $30, $40. Save some money if you're willing to risk looking for years and years on eBay. That might happen. But if you want to pick one up right now, I would definitely recommend you do that. He did say there's limited stock, and already he did a mirror finish version that sold out for $89. So I don't know how much longer these will be available. Make sure to pick one up quick. Now, before we go, I thought I need to be upfront with you guys because for a limited time, you can still get some of these Irwin multi-tool vice grips. Now, I think there may be a limited stock in Amazon. It does seem like perhaps the production has ended on these. I do not feel like these are readily available like they used to be. These do have a double-sided bit. I just put a Leatherman style bit to show you guys how this bit driver works. You could use Leatherman style bit in here. They do not lock. This is one of the things I hate about this tool. It's very chunky. It uses up all this space for a double-sided bit driver that doesn't lock. It has a knife that I'm not sure exactly how you're supposed to use. It just doesn't make sense to me. The vice grips I don't think are that good. The tools I don't think are that good, but some people online actually do love this tool. I do not. But if you want this, you can get this for, I think, sometimes $30 or so. It is fairly cheap. And yes, it is one of the cheapest vice grip tools, the most readily available on the market, even though I do think it's becoming harder to find on Amazon. So just so you guys know, I will leave links for all these tools that are available still below the video. Make sure to check that out.